I've loved Batman since I was a kid. He is my favourite Nepo baby. And today we stepped inside a place where they keep all of those memories alive. And I really wanted to share some of the love and experience that goes behind the archive. So, what is the Batman archive? This is it. It's a working memory for cinema. It's filled with suits, props, and vehicles that tell the story of how Batman films are made. Like stories of films like The Dark Knight, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, everything and how it's made. Even the Penguin. What does an actual archive do though? An archive preserves the physical language of all the film. All the cowls, the capes, the gauntlets, grapnels, dashboard dials are all recorded. They're protected and made available for the study of film, for references and archived. I personally feel like this is especially important as we tap more into the digital. Having that archive there is a moment, a film historian's dream. It's not a storage room. It's not just things stored in boxes. It's a living reference library for craft. So seeing the costume, a close-up of clothes, the suits reveal choices that define each era. Each Batman, each storytelling, their bodies, the shapes, the way they would move. Michael Keaton reads like a gothic menace. George Clooney is a pure late 90s spectacle. Christian Bale brings tactical realism. And Robert Pattinson leads into detective noir. And you can truly see that in the way that they've built the costumes and they've led into and leaned into the graphic novels and the stories from years ago. You can see it almost physically in front of you within the costumes, especially laid out visually side by era. You can read stitching finishes and articulation, the way that things flex and move, the way things look in the light and in the dark. I would say they didn't let me touch things, but don't worry, I wasn't fitting into half of these costumes anyway. It's the way these characters seem bigger than life on the screen, and then seeing them and it being able to see the detail we may not necessarily pick up on film is extremely humbling. One of my favourite things was seeing Catwoman's costume and seeing the way that her heel was made and the detail that was put in there, how she could stab someone with her heel, and we saw that in the movie. We also saw one cowl and it had one piece of damage almost instantly in that film, and then the progressive damage as Batman gets into more fights. Lets editors cut the story and shape what they want to do without breaking it. They said for Batman, for the idea of how they wanted to do this, they were going to put it in the storyboard and the costume and shaping how everything would be, how they would weather things. It took about 5 months. So I know everyone's super excited about the vehicles, the drivable rigs that you basically climb into, and the Batmobiles are still, although impractical, machines to build. They're built to drive, not just for the camera. You can drive these on road. You climb in and you don't just sit down. You experience it through the eyes of the Bat. It's everything that you would have in the car plus more. The 1989 car with a sliding canopy, the tumbler in The Dark Knight is a real stunt rig that moved with weight. It seems almost impossible to move. You can't really turn in it, and I think there's only one person that could really ride the tumbler. The Pattinson car in the Batman is a brutal street build. It feels handmade and uncomfortably alive in person. The stance alone tells a story. I think the thing that made me feel the most emotion and feel so connected and absolutely full of admiration, and I never knew that I would feel so much. It's brought a new interest in for me. It's just a hidden craft that you never see. Films are full of detail that the camera barely shows. The prop team showed us books filled with diaries, with real writing. Someone took that home and sat and wrote pages and pages and pages made for actors to interact with. There's details behind things you wouldn't even notice. There's little scratch marks on the back of a wardrobe. There's scratch marks on floors that you wouldn't see on camera, but they all build that world for the actors and for anyone that is to be immersed into it. Takes you back and makes you feel like you're living in that story. Just from touching things, the familiarity, the world building, all captured in props that are being protected. I asked them, and I was also curious what happens. How long do they have this? What happens? Do we keep it? Does it end up on eBay? Do they sell it? Does it get burnt? And They try to protect this as long as possible. To them, nothing is too small when it's part of the story or the film, and they have their own processes of keeping it and storing it for as much as possible. There's also things that we couldn't share, but to see Dream Things were my favourite films, and to see them in person and know that this is someone's job that has a true passion and love for this, it's beautiful. And I love that excitement. I love the want and love the fact that people are pushing to maintain that. I love the fact that when they're talking about their jobs, that they genuinely love all of the things, and they've been there for years. People have been there for years, and they're passing on these skills to others. Over time, materials can age. Rubber and some plastics will harden, crack, or become tacky over time, and there's no perfect fix for this. I believe preservation slows the process. I think they preserve what they have, so they try not to touch it. So unfortunately, some things will break down. For example, we were looking at Catwoman's glasses, and you could see the rubber kind of breaking down a little bit, and you would see that especially more on Batman's costume over time. And that's part of the normal deterioration of something that's made with that, especially when it comes to rubber things. All they can do is try and protect in cool and stable temperatures, controlled humidity, low light to protect dyes and paint, for example. They have supportive mannequins, so seams do not tear and shapes don't slump. There are loads of different ways that they ensure that they maintain the archive as much as possible. Limited display times, secure handling, especially the reasons why they said don't touch anything. We could climb into the cars. I did some research afterwards, and there's a lot of detail that goes into cataloguing and access. Every object is photographed and logged with measurements, materials, and condition notes. If a curator of future production needs a specific gauntlet or cowl variant, the catalogue leads them to the exact item in its history. This is how research happens, and this is how exhibitions travel, and this is how teams learn from what's come before. We're not losing the recipes. It's a language to the team that's there. Just think it acts like a quick anchor for those things that the audience can recognise. It's like you're in the room understanding why they made those decisions. The archive lets you read those choices, why it was leather, why it was resin, metal and fabric. They're the librarians protecting our books. They're shaping what we will see in future when it comes to films. Designers can study problem solving, students can see materials and finishes, fans can meet the world up close and understand why it felt real. We develop more with our stories, we will improve, we grow, and that's just for Batman. Batman first appeared in the Detective Comics in 1939, and every generation has reshaped him and told his stories in different ways, and we get to capture that in our own way. I can't wait for more Batman, and I can't wait for more storytelling. I can't wait for the costumes and designs, the props, and everything that goes with it to help cement the room that we're looking at the moment, that holds that evolution in 3 dimensions. So that's a Batman archive. It's like we're witnessing a conversation between artists, engineers and time writers, costume designers, makeup, everyone. I just love it. If you enjoy this kind of deep dive, if you've got anything you think I should know or research into or find more about things like this, especially when it comes to film, TV and gaming, because this is my first time experiencing anything like this, then let me know. Tell me your favourite suit and era and your favourite Batman. Thanks for watching, and let me know what you think.